大家好，欢迎收看本期的 CTalk 栏目。今天我们要采访的嘉宾是道默化学集团的董事会主席兼首席执行官Yves Bonte 先生，敬请期待。道默化学是一家全球领先的高质量工程材料生产商，为各大汽车品牌提供高品质的尼龙新材料和绿色环保型解决方案，产品广泛应用于汽车发动机周边、发动机仪表盘和汽车内外饰等部件。其出色的材料性能和循环再生利用的理念，和现在行业所倡导的可持续发展的需求不谋而合，使其成为向循环经济转变的领导者。Hi Yves, nice to have you today with us.
Nice to have you as well. Thank you.
Can you give us a brief introduction about the道默Chemicals?
Yes, Domo Chemicals started in 1992 when the family de Klerk bought a caprolactam plant in Germany, and then they added the polyamide 6 capacity to that, and since 1992 the company has been growing on a worldwide basis. Today we have about 10 manufacturing sites worldwide, still an important footprint in Europe, but clearly also a manufacturing site in China, also in India, and for instance also in the United States.
We see that道默Chemicals is a global company, and you have presence in everywhere globally.
Yes.
So the situation of each country actually is quite different, whether the policy, the environment, operating, everything, even the pace of industrial development. So how to balance and manage these differences and achieve the synergy?
Yes, indeed. Well, Domo is present in 9 countries with manufacturing entities and of course several sales offices. And that is part of our growth strategy, that we want to be a very diversified company and clearly be able to adapt our production and our service to the customers to the local situation of these customers. But of course we have a very strong global footprint that is supporting this international diversity at the same time.
Yeah. Last 3 years is quite hard for everyone, every company. We see the automotive industry actually facing a lot of challenges, either the COVID-19, the shortage of chip supply, the rising of every cost, even the geopolitical tension, even the war. So what do you think this will affect the global supply chain?
Yes, indeed. The previous 3 years have been very challenging in many different aspects. And in particular, of course, the supply chain was affected for many reasons, with COVID, with the shortage of chip supply, with some international maritime shipping capacity that was missing at certain points, congested ports, and I could go on with so many things. Of course, also a year ago we were confronted with the start of a war in Europe, and of course that completely changed the whole energy supply situation. In particular in Europe, energy was another dimension that we had to manage. So we had to act very quickly and very rapidly to cope with these new challenges from a supply chain point of view. But I must say, with Domo, agility and flexibility is one of our core competitive assets. And thanks to our agility and our flexibility, we have been able to adapt very quickly to this new situation, and probably even faster than some of our competitors, to make sure that we can supply some raw materials from different regions, from different countries, that we can find solutions for some of the materials that were missing in one place, but we were able to switch production to another place. And of course we learned very fast about all the aspects of energy and energy management. But thanks to the competence of our people, thanks to our flexibility and agility, I think we have been able to respond to the market situation quickly and actually continue to serve our customers in a very stable way.
That's not very easy, right?
It is not easy at all. but it goes with the commitment of your organization in all the countries to say, let's go the extra mile. And in many cases, a challenge brings also an opportunity. And challenges do bring opportunities. And we have worked a lot on the opportunities at the same time.
Anything impressed you most?
I think what has impressed me the most is certainly the way that our business in the international markets, and in particular in China, the way that we have been able to continue to run the business despite all the very, very difficult circumstances. I know that people were locked at home. They were locked in due to COVID in their locations. We could not travel anymore from the headquarters into China to keep supporting the people here. So basically the entity in China became almost self-sustainable, but on remote control. And I must say, surprisingly, this worked out so well. That shows also the strength and the power of the people in the local organization to make the company run, to make the business run, even without the direct support of the headquarters. That was for me an amazing moment, and coming here was fantastic to see what has happened during these 3 years despite the difficult circumstances.
Yeah, I'm very glad that you say so, because we do experience a lot at that time. And the people, especially in auto industry, actually we try everything to make the market still booming. You know, we achieve a lot of efforts, achievements last 3 years.
I can clearly see also during this period that you can test the strengths and the weakness of your organization and of your company. So in such a moment, a stressful moment, you do learn a lot about your organization and about your company. I think that's for me also as a CEO of the company, it was really a fantastic moment to really understand where are the strengths, what can we do more, and where are some opportunities to improve. So it was an extremely learning-full moment despite all the challenges that we had.
Yeah, and we also see that the auto industry actually is transforming to new NEV and embrace all the high-tech new materials. So what's your opinion on the rapid development of the NEV market, and what's the trend for that?
I think it's a perfect opportunity for a company like Domo Chemicals. About 50% of our business and our products go into the automotive industry. So the automotive industry is an extremely important off-taker of our products. But again, this change from the combustion engine into electric vehicles is at the same time a great opportunity. It makes us think how we can innovate, how we can bring new products to the market, but also how we can differentiate ourselves versus our competition, and doing it faster, better and cheaper than some of our competitors. And I think that is so important. We see it really as an opportunity. Of course, we will need to work very, very hard because the requirements of the automotive industry are very demanding, but at the same time, it brings us opportunity to really demonstrate what we are able to do and what we can develop together with our customers.
Comparing the combustion engine vehicles, what kind of new requirements of the EV brings to the nylon materials?
Yeah. Well, before, of course, nylon was used a lot under the bonnet of the car because you had the energy source of the car, the heat source of the car, and one of the typical characteristics of nylon is its temperature resistance. Of course, now we do not have the energy source anymore with the engine in the car, but you have many, many other requirements. And due to the mechanical properties of nylon, but also due to its chemical resistance, for instance, nylon is the material of choice for the cooling systems, for the batteries. And the more the batteries increase, the higher voltage, for instance, being used for the batteries, the better cooling systems that you need to have. So I think we are really working hard on making the change of our materials to support these new applications, like the cooling systems for the batteries. But also Domo has a long experience in the electric and electronics industry. So we have, for instance, with flame retardant materials. So now our experience from the electrics industry with the flame retardancy, we can apply all of that knowledge into the electric vehicle, because also there you need to have, of course, the electric components and the flame retardancy. So this knowledge from the electric industries, we can transplant it into the automotive industry with all the competence that we have built during decades.
That's an advantage.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Let's talk about the innovation. You know, innovation is a key driving force for all the companies to keep in this new trend. So how about innovation for Domo?
We have 4 strategic pillars in the company, and actually one of the strategic pillars is innovation. Innovation is part of our top line strategy. And that means clearly that we, first of all, we listen very carefully to our customers. Right? We discuss with them what they expect in 3, 4, 5 years from now about new applications, new innovations, and then we take it to our research people to develop these solutions. We invest on a yearly basis in important sums of money to make sure that we can continue to respond to the requirements of the customers. For instance, we have 3D applications where we can prototype new products for our customers. So very quickly the customer can see the kind of a prototype of the new item they want to have for the car. When the prototype is fine, we can go into production mode very, very quickly. And this is the way, for instance, that we have been able to replace, for instance, metal parts in cars being replaced by polyamide components in a very, very fast way, due to the fact that we were able to prototype and model new applications.
Yeah, when you mentioned the fast, I think of the speed of China market.
Yes.
So especially in the EV market, we just developed too fast. Will that be a challenge for global company?
I think it's great that you have a country like China leading the development of the electric vehicle. And yes, it's fantastic what you see, what's happening in China. But I think it's fantastic to see the leadership that China is taking in the development of the electric vehicles. You see cars here in this country that you don't see in other regions yet. So that really shows the leadership of China. But for us, it is fantastic to be here, to be close to the source, the leadership of the electric vehicle, and then of course, together with the global brands, we can expand it into other regions. So yeah, really a fantastic opportunity to be here.
Yeah, you just opened a new factory in Haiyan.
Yes, that's right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. What's the function of that factory positioning?
The function is really that we have a local production source here to supply the local customers, but also the global customers with activities in China. But it is also a source of production into other Asian countries. So it is really our central manufacturing hub for China, but also for other Asian countries.
What kind of a role China market play in the global market, do you think, from Domo Chemicals?
Yeah. Today, the center of gravity for Domo is still in Europe, because that's where the origin of the company is. But you can clearly see that the growth numbers, we have been experiencing double-digit growth numbers since multiple years. So our strongest growth is in China. So the future of the company and the strongest growth opportunities are in China. And that's why, of course, we expand in a new factory in China to be able to continue to serve our customers.
If you're looking forward for 3 or 5 years, what kind of expectation for this market?
Well, I hope we will continue to, and I'm convinced we will continue to grow double-digit numbers. So we are building a factory now that will have 50,000 ton capacity. I hope in a couple of years that we will be able to completely saturate that capacity. We will have space even to further debottleneck that plant. And I'm sure that will be also then the entry point for other manufacturing sites, or maybe indeed expand it to other countries. But really, I think we want to have a very, very strong footprint in China, in the fastest growing automotive market in the world.
Domo has a full integrated of the PA6 and the PA66.
Yes, that's right.
What's the differences between them, and how's the market performance?
Yeah, and the PA66 product is a slightly superior product to the PA6. the PA66 has somewhat higher temperature resistance, somewhat higher mechanical resistance, but for instance the PA6 has a better shock resistance.
Okay.
Yeah? So the two products are very close to each other, but they have slightly different physical parameters. Yeah? And so quite often together with the customers we offer the choice, depending on the application, depending on the design of the item, that we choose one or the other molecule for the final solution. And that is the strength also of Domo Chemicals, that we can offer this opportunity to make the proper choice with the customer for the best material, for the best application.
Will that be more expensive?
There is a slightly price difference between the two, but of course it depends on the design of the item. Ultimately for the customer it will not make a major difference.
Okay, because it's a scale economy, right? When more users, the price will down.
Yes, of course, but I think these are what I would call global engineered materials. I think the raw material source is largely available, the production capacity is available, so I do not expect any kind of, let's say, important price movements just because of scarcity of one of the other products. I think the materials are largely available, and the supply chains do function well, of course, in normal circumstances.
Nowadays, everyone talks about the carbon neutrality. So the sustainable development become more and more important for every company. So from Domo Chemicals, also is one of your mission, right?
Exactly. That's of the 4 strategic pillars. Sustainability is one of the 4 strategic pillars besides innovation. And yes, we have launched 3 years ago a global program. We call it Domo Beyond, and that's clearly where we define our sustainability roadmap for the coming years. We have clearly set targets for 2030, 2040, and of course, Domo Chemicals, we want to become completely carbon neutral by 2050. Yeah? For instance, for 2030, we have said that we would reduce our carbon emissions for Scope 1 and Scope 2 by 40% compared to the reference point 2019. We will reduce it by 80% by 2040. We will, for instance, double our recyclable product. Today, 10% of our portfolio is based on recycled polyamide. By 2030, we want to have 20% being based on recycled polyamide. These are just a few examples of our Domo Beyond sustainable roadmap.
Any specific actions you're being adopted already?
Yeah, we have clearly, for instance, formed a partnership with Hynamics in our factory in France, where we will, by 2027, we will produce all the hydrogen that we need to make our polyamide 6.6. All the hydrogen will be on a low carbon base, because the energy will be sourced from waste material. For instance, our manufacturing, or new plant that we have here in China, it will be powered by solar energy. We will have solar panels on the roof. The water system used in the plant will be a closed loop system for the water, so that we don't have any wastewater. We will have special action also for the air treatment in the plant. So from an environmental point of view, it will be one of the leading facilities in terms of total environmental protection.
Why is so important?
Because I think it is for us also an element of differentiation versus our competitors. I really believe if we can come with sustainable solutions, if we can offer sustainable solutions to your customers, the customers feel that you are really serious about that, and this is the future. So we really want to make sure that together with our customers, we build a sustainable future together.
Okay, thank you to accept our interview, and I think I also learned a lot from your talks.
It is my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.